It was 1987. A young man from the streets of Brooklyn, New York, had just become the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in history at just 20 years old. His name was Mike Tyson. Over the next decade, money poured in like most people could never dream of. Multiple mansions across the United States, a fleet of luxury cars, 2 Bengal tigers that cost him $70,000 each, with a private animal trainer earning $125,000 a year just to care for them. By the peak of his career, he had earned over $400 million, making him one of the wealthiest athletes the world had ever seen. By 2003, it was all gone, completely bankrupt, in debt by nearly $40 million, with absolutely nothing left of the $400 million fortune he had built with his own hands. In a 2010 interview, he sat down and said these words, "I'm totally broke. I had a lot of fun. It just happened." Now, here is the question that should genuinely stop you in your tracks. If making more money was the solution to financial problems, how does a man who earned $400 million end up with absolutely nothing? The answer has nothing to do with math. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with psychology. Today, we are going to explore exactly why most people stay broke no matter how much money they make, and more importantly, what you can do right now to finally break the cycle. Money is 80% psychology. Here is a fact that most financial advisors will never tell you. According to behavioral economists and researchers, the way we handle money has almost nothing to do with knowledge and almost everything to do with our emotions, habits, and deeply rooted psychological beliefs. Morgan Housel, author of the best-selling book The Psychology of Money, published in 2020, argues that financial success depends far less on how smart you are and far more on how you behave. Research in behavioral finance has confirmed that emotions like fear, greed, pride, shame, and hope dominate financial decisions far more than logic or calculation ever could. Your brain was not designed to build wealth. It was designed to survive. And in the modern world, those two goals are in constant conflict with each other. Your childhood programmed your financial brain. Think back to the very first time you heard your parents talk about money. What did they say? What did you feel? What did you witness? Research in financial psychology has revealed something deeply uncomfortable. Our money beliefs and behaviors are largely formed in childhood, long before we ever earn our first paycheck. The words you overheard, the arguments you witnessed, and the financial environment you grew up in quietly became your psychological blueprint for how you handle money as an adult. Financial psychologist Dr. Brad Klontz of Creighton University has spent decades studying what he calls money scripts, unconscious beliefs about money passed down through families across generations. Beliefs like money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy, we could never afford that. These scripts run silently in the background of every financial decision you make, and most people have absolutely no idea they are even there. Consider this real documented story. A man earning $800,000 a year was permanently broke. In therapy, he finally uncovered the reason. As a child, his mother had repeatedly told him, "Rich people are greedy. They get wealthy off the backs of the poor. You only need enough to get by." Those words became his financial operating system. Every time his income climbed past a certain level, his subconscious mind found ways to eliminate the excess: impulsive purchases, reckless investments, loans he would never collect. He was not bad with money. He was simply running a psychological program installed in his mind decades before he ever had any money to manage. And the uncomfortable truth is, most of us are doing exactly the same thing without ever realizing it. Section 3. Lifestyle Creep, the Silent Wealth Killer. Have you ever gotten a significant raise, felt genuinely excited about it, and then found yourself just as financially stressed 6 months later, wondering where all the money went? This has a name. It is called lifestyle creep, and it is one of the most psychologically powerful and invisible traps keeping people financially stuck. Here is how it works. When your income increases, your spending quietly increases with it. A slightly nicer apartment, eating at better restaurants, upgrading your phone before the old one stops working, a newer car because you feel you deserve it, more subscriptions, more convenience, more of everything. Each individual decision feels completely reasonable in the moment. You worked hard, you earned it, you can afford it now. But here is what the research reveals. Studies have shown that the average household earning over $100,000 a year still lives paycheck to paycheck. Not because $100,000 is insufficient, but because human psychology ensures that lifestyle expands to consume whatever income is available. The psychological mechanism driving this is called hedonic adaptation, a phenomenon well documented in psychology since the 1970s, describing the proven tendency of humans to quickly return to a baseline level of satisfaction regardless of positive changes in their circumstances. A new car excites you for 3 months, then it becomes normal. Then you want something newer. The cycle never ends unless you consciously and deliberately interrupt it. More money, same financial stress. That is lifestyle creep working exactly as it always does. The lottery winner trap. Now, here is one of the most shocking financial statistics you will ever hear. Research has shown that roughly 70% of lottery winners end up completely broke within just 5 years of receiving their winnings. 70%. People who were literally handed millions of dollars broke within 5 years. Psychologists call what happens to these winners sudden wealth syndrome, a term that emerged in psychological research in the late 1990s to describe the overwhelming psychological impact of receiving large sums of money too quickly for the mind to process. When money arrives faster than the mind can adapt, the brain experiences an overwhelming flood of dopamine that severely impairs judgment and triggers deeply impulsive decision-making. Unlike people who build wealth gradually over years, developing financial skills, discipline, and habits along the way, lottery winners receive wealth without the psychological foundation needed to sustain it. Sudden wealth creates a deep identity confusion. Winners do not psychologically feel like wealthy people despite having millions in their account. They continue making the exact same decisions they always made, only now with millions of dollars available to fuel those decisions. And this is not just a lottery phenomenon. In 1999, Sports Illustrated published a report revealing that 78% of NFL players face serious financial difficulties within just 2 years of retirement, despite earning millions during their careers. The same devastating pattern appears across different people, different backgrounds, and wildly different amounts of money. The problem is never the money. The problem is always the psychology behind the money. Section 5. Emotional spending and the billion-dollar manipulation. Let us talk about something every single person listening to this has personally experienced: emotional spending. Boredom, stress, loneliness, anxiety, celebration, heartbreak. All of these emotional states trigger spending, and the most critical thing to understand is that the modern marketplace is not accidentally designed this way. It is deliberately and precisely engineered to exploit these exact emotional vulnerabilities. Research published in behavioral economics has shown that it is psychologically more painful to part with physical cash than to pay with a credit card, making it remarkably easy to accumulate significant debt simply by switching from cash to card payments. Every swipe feels harmless. Every buy now, pay later option feels convenient and responsible. Every carefully timed flash sale creates artificial urgency that completely bypasses your rational thinking. Teams of behavioral psychologists, neuroscientists, and data analysts work full-time at the world's largest corporations specifically to understand the emotional triggers that make you spend. They study the colors that make you buy, the sounds that lower your financial guard, the exact time of day your willpower is at its lowest, and they design every single purchasing experience around those vulnerabilities. You are not making as many free financial choices as you believe. You are responding to a system built by some of the world's most sophisticated psychological engineers, and it is quietly costing you your financial future one seemingly harmless purchase at a time. Section 6. How to finally break the cycle. So after everything we have explored, the childhood programming, the lifestyle creep, the emotional manipulation, how do you actually escape these psychological forces and start building real, lasting wealth? The answer is not more willpower. Willpower is unreliable, limited, and depletes steadily throughout the day. Relying on willpower alone to change your financial behavior is like trying to hold back the ocean with your bare hands. The real answer is awareness combined with intentional system design. First, uncover your money story. Take time to genuinely reflect on the beliefs about money you absorbed in childhood. What did your parents say about money? What emotions surrounded money in your household growing up? What unconscious money scripts are silently running your financial decisions right now? Simply naming and acknowledging these beliefs begins to loosen their psychological grip on your behavior. Second, automate your savings. Make saving the automatic default behavior and spending the effortful act. Set up an automatic transfer of a portion of your income to a savings account on the exact day you get paid, before you ever see that money available to spend. Research consistently shows that people who automate their saving build significantly more wealth over time than those who rely on discipline and good intentions alone. You simply cannot spend what you never see. Third, redesign your environment. Remove the friction from saving and deliberately add friction to spending. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Avoid browsing online stores out of boredom. The less exposure you have to carefully engineered spending triggers, the less psychological power those triggers have over your daily financial decisions. Fourth, measure yourself against yourself. Stop comparing your financial reality to the curated highlight reels of others on social media. Every scroll through your feed is a masterclass in manufactured financial anxiety, comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to everyone else's carefully selected best moments. Compare yourself only to where you were financially 1 year ago. That honest comparison is the only one that produces genuine and sustainable progress. Mike Tyson stood at the top of the world in 1987. By 2003, he had lost every single dollar of a $400 million fortune. 70% of lottery winners are broke within 5 years. The average household earning over $100,000 a year still cannot make it comfortably to the end of the month. The pattern across every single one of these stories is identical. The problem was never the money. The problem was always the psychology behind the money. Building real, lasting wealth is not about being smarter than everyone else or working harder than everyone else. It is about understanding the invisible psychological forces that silently drive your financial behavior every single day and learning to work with your mind instead of constantly fighting against it. Money is not just a number. It is a mirror that reflects your deepest beliefs, your hidden fears, and your most ingrained habits. Change your psychology, and your financial reality will follow. If this video gave you a new perspective on your relationship with money, make sure you subscribe for more content on psychology and human behavior, because the next video just might change the way you see yourself forever. See you there.